The phrase cozy game didn't really exist in 1999, but it's hard to argue that the spirit of it wasn't alive in Harvest Moon 64, a game so ubiquitous that not many people know it was actually the second game in its franchise. Many cozy franchises have come and gone in the following quarter century, including its own, Harvest Moon now being effectively its own spin-off series, while the original creators continue on under a different title. The gaming medium has advanced a lot in the meantime, and without either the giant marketing push given to games like Animal Crossing or the unfathomable word of mouth and community support of Stardew Valley, Story of Seasons is here to throw its flower-adorned hat into the ring, and it might just walk away with the whole prize if enough people know it exists.
The protagonist is shipwrecked onto an island. There, they stumble across a town where they become a farmer. And that's the general plot. Spoilers omitted, of course. Apparently it's quite good. I hope I was able to explain it in a way that made it seem somewhat interesting, at least.
To address the first question, yes, this game is on some level a remake of 2010's Harvest Moon Grand Bazaar. That game was originally released on the Nintendo DS, but despite having some commonalities, it's best to consider the Story of Seasons version as a brand new game given the scope of expansion here. You play as a protagonist whose gender is your choice and arrive in the picturesque Zephyr Town, formerly known for three things: wind, windmills, and its weekly shopping bazaar. The first thing still holds very true, but ever since the departure of the previous owner of your new farm, the windmills have fallen into disrepair and the shopping bazaar has dead mall vibes. Now that you're here, your character is asked to revitalize the bazaar in exchange for their house and farm, and as you do so, you'll meet the huge cast of colorful townsfolk and become a pillar of their community. Your stall at the bazaar is going to need to be stocked though, and this is where the series' traditional farming aspects come in. The game takes place over years divided into 4 seasons, with 1 month per season, and the crops you can successfully raise depending on what season you're in. You begin with one moderately sized farming plot to use how you'd like, with the game's early achievements frequently giving you seeds as rewards in order to help you if you get into a tough spot, but it's up to you to keep things maintained. Your farm can also be home to a variety of animals, both pets and livestock, and your livestock are a renewable source of easily sold materials like milk or wool. Of course, you'll need to take care of them too, but I admit that even I got a huge kick out of waking up to find that my calf had suddenly grown into one of the series' trademark enormous cows. It's important to keep them fed and happy, and they'll reward you for this with increasing quality of byproducts. The other method of stocking your bazaar is equally important though. You'll need to upgrade your tools in order to increase your stamina efficiency and not waste too much time resting, and in order to find those materials you'll be foraging in the town and nearby mountains. Each morning, and then each late afternoon, the town will refresh with flowers, herbs, wood, and minerals for you to gather up, and these can be used for materials or used in the windmills to create high-value products for sale. You can also offer them up to the diminutive nature sprites that you'll meet around halfway through your first month, and doing so offers long-term benefits. You won't immediately get money for them, but instead increasing each of the sprites' levels, which is how you increase the quality of items you forage and therefore their selling price, and farm their special currency of happy points, which you'll also gain at random by foraging, talking to people, or even platforming around the town. Speaking of the town, its inhabitants are delightful even if you've seen their archetypes before. One of the key aspects of this series and its many spiritual successors is the ability to increase your relationship values with townsfolk and eventually get married, and this system is preserved in Grand Bazaar, with the added improvement of removing the gender lock that previously limited who you were allowed to court. The cast feels a bit old-fashioned as they're largely imported from the original DS title, but their voice work brings them to life and left me endeared to pretty much all of them anyway, even the ones I wasn't actively looking to romance. The super deformed style is fairly communicative of the tone, nothing that serious is going to happen with these people, but this game is definitely tailored in just the right way to get you caught up in their small town existence. The Bazaar itself is a fun but simplistic minigame where success is much more about preparation than active performance. You'll be the one supplying all your own stock, so if you don't prep items for sale, you're not going to get much out of it, but it's also up to you to decorate it, with each of the modular decorations providing some kind of bonus that can stack up to increase your profits. At the end of each day, you'll be given a running total of your numbers, and reaching milestones, as well as helping your friends open more stalls, will advance the plot by increasing your bazaar's rank, with the ultimate title of Grand Bazaar obviously being the end goal of the narrative. As the game progresses, so too do its quality of life features. It might seem daunting that your hoard of goods can be in your inventory, house storage, windmills, or shop stock, but you'll quickly unlock the ability to exchange happy points for special boxes that let you access your house storage from the windmills or bazaar, easily solving the issue. The game's new air glider provides the ability to access faraway places on windy days, sure, but you can also just use it to very easily get from the farm to the bazaar if you're running low on time, in addition to the other shortcuts through Zephyr Town. Unfortunately, the inventory also presents my only real annoyance with Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar. As I mentioned, the quality of items can and will increase over the course of the game, but if you're not paying attention, you can and probably will get quickly overwhelmed with multiple stacks of what appear to be the same item except that they're different qualities. This can really quickly fill your inventory space, and while it's easy to just run up to the sprites and turn things in, this also means you'll have your storage be filled with ores, plants, and crops of different rarities that make item production less efficient, since you can't use items that aren't already stacked together unless you have to in order to meet the crafting requirement. I also found the waiting time for upgraded tools to be a bit unnecessary, since it's very easily subverted by just putting them into the windmill right before going to bed for the day and then picking them up in the morning. Having them be upgraded in the windmill at all feels a bit more complicated than it has to, when the game places a heavy focus on the skills of the townspeople, one of whom could be the person that improves your tools. Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar is the kind of game I have to actively battle within myself not to let take up my entire life. It's a cozy fantasy dream from which anyone with a love for the genre may not want to wake up, and where its sister series Rune Factory is moving in a broader direction, Story of Seasons is clearly positioning itself as the game for those who want to roll up their sleeves and put in their own work. I have minor issues with it, sure, but they don't stop it from being my favorite slice of life title I've played in years. And whether you're nostalgic for Harvest Moon 64 or a newer gamer just wanting the best example of a popular genre, I'm confident that it can capture your heart as much as it did mine. Noisy Pixel is giving Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar a 9 out of 10. Thanks for watching. This video is brought to you by our supporters on Patreon. Noisy Pixel is run by a group of gamers providing independent gaming coverage through news, reviews, previews, and more. Check out our Patreon to help support our continued growth and subscribe to keep up with all of our future content.
Noisy Pixel.